Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links action, and as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Cyber Dragons. Please load. Thank you. Cyber Dragons have become viable once again thanks to a new skill and a new extra deck monster. For the new skill, they no longer utilize Cyber Style, they instead utilize Cyber Style Evolution, which at the beginning of the duel, you add an emergency, or Cyber Emergency and Power Bond to the bottom of the deck. In addition, the following effects can be used twice per turn and thrice per duel. Select a Cyber Dragon on the field, it changes level to 5. Now, it does have some restrictions on deck building, so let's get into the deck. First of all, we're playing 3 Cyber Dragon. We are playing 3 Cyber Dragon Veer, we are playing 3 Core, and we are playing 3 Natchster. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that's a lot of monsters. Normally Cyber Dragons don't need this many monsters. However, in order to activate the skill, we need all 12. That's just how it works. So, there you go. Now, moving, let me actually talk about Veer and some of these other cards. Veer gives you a boost to all of your Cyber Dragons on the field by 500 attack and defense. It's really solid, being able to summon out something like a 2600 Cyber Dragon, summoning out the Cyber Dragon and then special summoning the Veer to gain a 2600 attack point monster, which was basically a free special summon, is really nice. So Veer also special summons itself whenever a Cyber Dragon is normal or special summoned. Really solid. It basically just gets you another body onto the field for a myriad of things. Core, when it is normal summoned, you add a Cyber card. It's really solid, but its second effect is also just as important. You can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. The reason this is so important is because you can utilize this with Natchster's effect to when it is special summoned to target a machine type monster with 2100 attack or defense in your graveyard and special summon it. So, you can banish Core if you have no monsters on your side of the field, summon out the Natchster, and then summon back a Cyber Dragon from the graveyard. It's a really solid effect and a really solid component to the deck. There's a reason Cyber Dragon Core is called Core. It's because it's the core of the deck. You need this card to make it work. Now, I mentioned its effect when it is special summoned, but how do you special summon it? Other than Core? Well, you could discard one other monster in order to special summon this card from the hand. Meaning, if you have a Cyber Dragon, you can actually activate Natchster's effect, pitch the Cyber Dragon, and then special summon the Cyber Dragon back, giving you 2 bodies onto the field in order to go into some XZ plays. Now, we are also playing Book of Moon for a myriad of reasons. It's really solid going second, it's pretty good going first, and more importantly, it has synergy with another monster that we play in the extra deck in Wind Up Arsenal Zen Mao. What this card does is you can detach an XZ material to target 2 set cards on the field to destroy them, meaning it includes monsters that are set. So if you Book of Moon it, and then, you summon out this guy, detach the material, you can pop one of their spells and traps, and one of their monsters. Really solid. Then, of course, we are playing Cyberload Fusion and Cybernetic Overflow. Do not forget that Fusion is only from the extra deck and the field, as well as it only allows the Fusion summoned monster to attack. Only that card can attack. Do keep that in mind. Cyberload Fusion is kind of dumb. Then we have Machine Duplication. This card is basically, you win if you are able to resolve this effect. So, target a machine type monster you control with 500 or less attack, special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as that monster. Why is this so good? Core, Natchster, that's why. You summon out either one of these, and then you activate Machine Duplication, and you're able to bring out 2 Cyber Dragons. This gains you a ton of advantage, especially with something like Core. Say, for example, your hand is something like Core, Machine Duplication, one of your Cyber cards, right? Any one of them, and a Book of Moon. All of a sudden, you are set to go. You normal summon the core, you activate Machine Duplication, you multiply in to 2 more Cyber Dragons. You set the Book of Moon, you set the Cyberload Fusion, you set the Cybernetic Overflow, whichever one you didn't have. You go into your rank 5 XZ play, and you still have material on the field. You still have another material on the field, as well as a bunch of cards on the field to interrupt your opponent. Really solid play. And then, of course, we're playing Polymerization in order to get access to Chimera Tech and Twin Dragon, which are really solid. We're also playing Cyber End Dragon, which comes up occasionally, but most of the time you're not going to summon it off of a Polymerization. Most of the time you're going to be summoning it off of a Cyber Dragon Nova. So let's talk about this card. Once per turn, you can detach an XZ material from this card, target a Cyber Dragon in the graveyard, special summon it. Just straight up special summon a Cyber Dragon. That's any of these guys. You can even summon Cyber Dragon Natch back in order to summon back another Cyber Dragon. Really solid. On top of that, once per turn during either player's turn, you can banish a Cyber Dragon from your hand or face up from your monster zone. This card gains 2100 attack until the end of this turn. Meaning, it becomes 4200. This card becomes really big. Almost nothing can beat over it. And it can beat over just about anything. So, it allows you to protect yourself pretty effectively. On top of that, if this card in your possession is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a machine-type fusion monster from your extra deck. Most of the time, you will be going into Cyber End Dragon. Really solid, just a big beat stick. That's basically it. So, with Cyber Dragons renewed and back in style, how do they end up working out? Let's find out. And here we are up against Yami Yugi for our first match. We do end up getting to go second, which is really solid for this deck. As I mentioned previously, Book of Moon is better going second, and we drew 2 of them here. We also drew Core and Veer, which is a really solid combo for this deck. And they end up having basically nothing going first. But we're going to normal summon Core, activate Veer, and summon out all of our monsters, as well as adding the Cyberload Fusion. We're going to activate Cyberload Fusion. They are going to Treacherous Trap Hole us, which is not the greatest, but it's doable because we do have the 2 Book of Moon. But remember, this card basically fizzles if your cards are in the graveyard, so nothing ends up happening. They're going to activate Super Soldier Synthesis. We did end up seeing them add the Super Soldier to the hand, and we're just going to immediately on activation, or on summon, Book of Moon that, put it face down. We don't want any of that. They're going to add Super Soldier Ritual to the hand, and we're just going to let that happen. We are going to activate Core in order to special summon a Cyber Dragon from the deck. The reason I did this is because basically, it's better to get it out of the deck than from the hand, because Core could be negated later on. However, right now, it's not going to be, so we're just going to get it from the deck instead. Oh, excuse me. We're going to get it from the deck instead. We're going to attack into this Blackluster Soldier, and for some reason, he's actually playing a Gaia card. I think this is genuinely not a good idea. Do not play Gaia cards. It's not worth it. Just let your guy die. But, yeah. Soldier Gaia, the Fierce Knight, comes out. He tributes himself for a Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier. Once again, he goes for the Super Soldier Ritual, sending the Fox, which is pretty interesting because that allows him to put one of our attacks into 0. But it doesn't really matter. We have the second Book of Moon. We're just going to Book of Moon it once again. We still have all of the monsters on the field that we need. Now, you may have wondered why I haven't gone into, say, an XZ, and the reason for that is because I need some other material on the field in order for an XZ to actually be worthwhile. But right now, it's fine. He's going to turn our card to defense position once again and attack over it. We finally draw into a playable card with Natchster. We are going to pitch Natchster in order to summon back our Cyber Dragon. And then we are going to Cyber Dragon Evolution. We are going to make everything a rank 5, or a level 5, and then we are going to go into our Cyber Dragon Nova. And immediately at that point, our opponent surrenders, realizing that we have game. Because what we could have done is we could have used the first effect to special summon back another Cyber Dragon. We could have gone for a second Cyber Dragon Nova in order to, continue our plays from there. And at that point, it's basically game over. So, there you go. First win. I promise this is a new duel. We're up against Yami Yugi once again going second. I promise this is a different one. I promise. Okay? We're going to activate Cyber Style Evolution once again. And we kind of bricked here. This isn't the greatest of hands, but we do end up going second. So we might draw something that gets us out of this. However, we do have a Book of Moon for their Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons. So we could just flip that face down and then be fine. However, we ended up bricking. We drew both of our other polymerizations. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Let's see how this goes. They're going to summon out their second Gaia, the Magical Knight, or Gaia, the Magic Dragon thing. We're going to just flip it face down. Doesn't really end up mattering. And we draw into core. Fantastic. We're going to grab ourselves that Cyberload Evolution. We're going to then fusion summon into Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. We're going to activate Rampage Dragon. We're going to pop their field spell. We're then going to send 2 cards to the graveyard and then set 2 and pass. So, at this point, we're going to immediately Cybernetic Overflow, and the reason for this is pretty simple. I need to pop all of the cards on their field, and I want to get as many cards banished as I can immediately, so that Cyberload Fusion is accessible. However, the way that they stop this is by targeting our Cyberload Fusion, which they don't know we have, and popping it. Does that make a lot of sense? No, not really. They do need to stop this Rampage Dragon, because if they don't, they also die. However, it is their turn, so maybe they had something else. I didn't know. They end up deciding to pop our Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, which, honestly, I can't really blame them. During the end phase, we're going to fuse into our second Rampage Dragon, and then we are going to, again, use the Rampage Dragon's effect. We're going to mill a bunch of cards. We are then going to set 1, and we're going to attack in for lethal with our Rampage Dragon. There you go. Book of Moon. You gotta love it. It's the same. It's just the same thing every time. It's a new duel, but is it really? It's all good. We ended up drawing Cyber Dragon and Core here, which is pretty nice. And again, we're going up against Gaia. I promise this is a different duel, but it kind of ends up the same. We have the Book of Moon once again. And they are going to go into their Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, or Gaia, the Dragon Champion. We're going to just Book of Moon that and say, no, I'm good. I don't want to deal with that. We're then going to summon out our Cyber Dragon, and then we are going to normal the core, grab up the Cyberload Fusion, and then we are going to go into a Zen Mao. Now, the reason I did this was because I noticed that they didn't have any activatable responses to any of my card effects in the back row. So I was like, okay, so those are definitely some sort of battle trap that I don't want to run into. So I'm going to pop them by going into this guy. So I'm going to pop them, and as you can see, one of them did end up being a Drowning Mirror Force, which would have sucked to have run into. However, at this point, they're only on the Galloping Gaia. And yeah, I'm just going to say no to this Treacherous Trap Hole, which wasn't even live. But had it been live, it would have been really terrible had I played into that. Doesn't end up mattering all that much. We're just going to Cyberload Fusion into our Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, pop their field spell, and then activate the effect and attack in for well over lethal. Bada bing, bada boom, another Gaia down. I just real quick want you guys to know that this guy's name is YouTube Duel Links Rebel, or YTDL Rebel, and he is playing meta. Just let that sink in for a little. He's playing meta. I bet you already know what he's playing, given the fact that he's playing Aster. And yeah, he's playing heroes. Let's see how this goes. We ended up not getting the greatest of hands, but it's also not terrible. We didn't draw any of our spells or traps, and all of those are pretty high value. But we did end up drawing Double Veer, Cyber Dragon, and Natchster. So that's pretty solid. We're going to just go for the Natchster here. We are going to summon out the Cyber Dragon once again, as well as the Veer. We are then going to rank, change all of our levels to 5s. We're going to go for the rank 5 Cyber Dragon Nova, and then we are going to normal summon the second Veer. I'm going to attack in just because it's funny, and then I'm also going to keep this Book of Moon in hand. I probably should have said it, but I don't think it really matters all that much. Here, it actually does end up mattering. Had I been able to book this Malevolent Sin, it would have been much better. But you will see that that doesn't end up mattering too much. However, I don't know if I should have set this, because I know that he has that Book of or the Mystical Space Typhoon in the back row. He could have just activated that, destroyed our Book of Moon. Wouldn't have ended up mattering. Anyway, he's going to attack in for not quite lethal. I have 500 attack points left, and guess who comes back during our standby phase? That's right, Nova. Now, the good thing about Nova is that I can summon out this Veer and then tribute it off with Nova in order to gain attack, and then I can just continue attacking. Guess what? Also, we are rank 5, which means this level 6 or higher doesn't matter. Decider doesn't do anything against us. So they're going to activate this mask change. They're going to get rid of their Dreadmaster in order to go for an Anki, and we have the Book of Moon for a response. We drew the 3rd Book of Moon. We're going to attack in, destroy their monster, and then he's going to econ our monster. Guess what? This requires us to have a face-up monster. I'm just going to flip that face down, and it's not going to end up mattering. Now, they do have Celestial in the graveyard, meaning they are going to most likely get a draw 2 on their following turn. As you can see right here, they're going to set a card, they're going to draw 2, and they are going to try to play through our board, which is literally just Nova at this point. They're going to Destiny draw, and then they're going to activate Lightning Vortex, and guess what? No one knows how to read in this game. Thank you very much. I am going to summon out our Cyber End Dragon. At this point, I am able to flip up our Cybernetic Overflow, which we ended up just drawing off the top, and then just proceeding to pop all of their cards. And with the Cyber End Dragon, that is well over lethal. So, Cyber Dragon Nova, he did it. He was the Cyber Dragon Nova that could. Alright, so what are my thoughts on this deck? First of all, I love the fact that it is running so many Cyber Dragon monsters. One of the coolest things about Cyber Dragons is the fact that a lot of their monsters have the effect where they become Cyber Dragon in the field and in the grave, and the fact that you're actually utilizing that effect to its fullest potential is really nice. Veer is a super cool card, and I love seeing it actually being played, as well as things like Machine Duplication being played as well. This card is insane in Cyber Dragons, and definitely should not be slept on. If we had this card at 3, Cyber Dragons would probably be a tier 1 meta threat, because the amount of advantage that you are able to get off of a single core and a Machine Duplication is absolutely insane. The only thing that would help Cyber Dragons more is more extra deck space, right? At this point, I'm running 2 Nova and 2 Rampage Dragon, and honestly, both of those 2 ofs are necessary. If you wanted to limit yourself a little bit, you could cut a few of these other cards and go for more rank 5s or other such cards. But honestly, it's just worth it to play it this extra deck the way that it is, right? Because you kind of need everything. As you could see, there were a lot of times where I summoned basically everything, except for Twin. I never really summoned that. However, it's incredibly powerful to have, just in general. It really does allow for OTKs a lot more. Especially if your Nova gets destroyed, like during the end phase of an effect, or you know, on your turn, you can just, you know, go for a Twin Dragon and attack for game. Very nice. All in all, Book of Moon's insane. That's one of the major takeaways, and I really love this style of Cyber Dragon. It's way more fun, it's way more entertaining, and it's way better to play against as well, knowing that there's only the one Cybernetic Overflow, there's only the one Cyberload Fusion that you have to worry about, is way nicer than having to worry about, oh, is that the second Cybernetic Overflow? Oh, are they going to have a million Cyberload Fusions? Are they going to always go into their Rampage Dragon? Are they always going to have access to Cyber Twin Dragon? You know, it's way nicer to play against. So, that's it. That's going to be the episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links action, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.